Okay, let me start the webinar. Good day to one and all. This is Dr. Sivaraman of iknowindices.com. Now I'll be presenting the Asian session live market analysis and the forecast. And in this webinar, I will give the forecast for this week, 25th to 29th of January. Today we are on 25th of January between 5 and 5:30 GMT. I'll explain the session-wise expected market moves this week from Monday to Friday, and also the expected range in which the four majors and two commodity pairs could be making their swings in the market. Besides, I'll also do the market reading and then explain briefly about the trading strategy, what you are supposed to do. So for that, I will give the live trade calls, and that can be used in your demo trading account to find out what could happen to those trades based on the forecast. So my contact details are my email ID, dr@i-knowindices.com, my Skype chat ID, iknowindices@hotmail.com. You can contact me through Skype chat, and I'll be willing to answer to those questions if you have got any doubt. And also you can visit my website, www.iknow-knowindices.com. Now we will see the details pertaining to the forecast. So our trading system has got the forecast, which is statistically derived forecast using a specific algorithm which is proprietary, and fine-tune the forecast using the market reading technique. And for that, we note down the initial lows and the highs around 3:30 GMT using the live market code page. This is the live market code page, which you can use it as a single tool in order to understand how the players are making different type of moves during different time frame of the day, and synchronize it with that of the forecast, which is given in the next slide. So here you come across the session-wise forecast. So you can find out what is the GMT time. It is 5:02 GMT, which falls in the Japanese session. So what is the expected move during the Japanese session on 25th of January, and then later on European session and the US session. So follow those times using the GMT time frame, which is displayed here. And in this code page, they are displaying the New York time, Eastern time, but still you can use the GMT time to understand the forecast. And here you come across in the forecast, in the live market code page, the bid and the ask against the respective currencies, and also the high what they are set and the low they are set during the day so far, from start of the day, from that of 0030 GMT. Then you come across the net change, that is from that of the previous day close. Now it is comparing to that of the Friday close, last week close. Euro has gained about 15 pips so far. That's what it indicates, the net change. Then USD has lost about 4 pips. GBP has gained about 39 pips. So plus means it has gained, or it is above that of the Friday close. Negative means it is below that of the Friday close. So with the help of that, you'll be able to find out whether the market is in the uptrend or in the downtrend as a simple market trading strategy or simple market reading technique. And they change these net changes from time to time. If they gain above that of the previous day close, then it will be in green and positive sign will be shown. If it is below that of the Friday close, you will come across the negative sign, and also the codes, the number will be in red. And you can find out the numerator currencies, for example, now Euro, GBP, wherein it's a ratio. Euro USD is a ratio, that Euro is in the numerator and USD is in the denominator. So if Euro is in the numerator and shows positive sign, that means Euro is gaining. And here USD is in the in the numerator and n is in the denominator. So when it shows the negative sign, that means USD is weakening. Otherwise, n is gaining. That is why it is in the negative net change. So GBP is a numerator. Again, it is in positive sign. CHF is in denominator, and which is showing red or the negative sign that shows that USD is weakening. So in all the four majors, USD is showing the weakening move. That means USD is slowly weakening against that of the other majors. But these two are the commodity pairs. USD CAD is showing 16 pips positive net change. That means USD is gaining. Canadian dollar is weakening. So that is why you come across it in positive net change. So here you find an exception that US dollar is gaining. And whereas Aussie USD is concerned, that it is also in positive net change. That means Australian dollar is gaining, other major is gaining. So, all the currencies excepting USD CAD, other majors are gaining. So USD CAD is a denominator currency because Canadian dollar is coming on the denominator of the ratio, whereas Australian dollar is showing, which is in the numerator. So when the denominator and the numerator both are showing positive net change or both are showing negative net change, then you come across as contrarian move. That means USD CAD is showing USD gaining move. Australian dollar is showing USD weakening move. So there is a contrary. The USD is gaining against one currency, USD is losing against another currency as far as the two commodity pairs are concerned. When such contrarian moves happen in the market, that means the players are handling the crosses. That is what it indicates. With the help of the live market code page, you can find out by comparing all the four majors and two commodity pairs, you can find out what they intend to do from time to time. So this is with regard to the market reading. Now, forecast part of it. Today, during the Japanese session, they are expected to make the higher level swing, slowly gain and make with a positive net change, and then slide towards close nominally. Then they are expected to make a lower level swing closer to that of the low and then gain quickly above that of the high during the European session. Then afterwards, during the US session again, they are expected to make a slow slide as a profit booking move. So they are expected to make either way moves, a slide, swing and rise, and swing and slide for the first day of the week. This being the last week of January. So you know that the monthly trend reversal is to happen. So this time, the month of January gets over in this week, and the month of February starts by that of the next week. So for 2 weeks, we'll come across the monthly trend reversal, and we have already seen in the month of December and January the yearly trend reversal moves, how extreme moves they have done it in the case of Euro and GBP. GBP came to that of the extreme level of 1.4067 and then started reversing quickly on Friday. Then similarly, in the case of Australia, Aussie also, they made a massive drop. Australian dollar, they came down to 0.68 level. Canadian dollar, they took it up to 1.46. From there, how they had dropped. You can understand how they are making such extreme moves by fag end of the yearly trend reversal time. Then afterwards, and also in the case of USD, they came down to 115.97 and then gained to 118. These are all extended stop and moves to before that of the reverse. And they, on Friday, kept Euro at the lower level and gained quickly GBP in order to confuse the traders. And you know very well, GBP is the trend setter. They make the move ahead in GBP because of the lesser volume. So we have to track this currency most of the time to find out what they intend to do. So in order to create the market sentiment, they make quick moves in the case of GBP. They made a very quick drop in the case of GBP on Thursday during before the ECB press conference. And people might be wondering, okay, it is pertinent to that of euro, why GBP is making a drop? But you know, at that time, what they had done, they gained quickly the levels in the case of euro to 1.0977, and GBP they came below that of 1.4130 level, and as a result, Euro GBP cross went above that of 0.87, and from there they made the big drop in the case of Euro GBP cross by gaining more the levels in the case of GBP and dropping euro as a contrarian move. This sort of contrarian moves, they had done it in order to handle the European crosses. At that time, you would have noticed that GBP also, they made the drop as well as USD CHF. As a result, GBP CHF also came down drastically, and now they have started gaining the levels. So you have to understand what currency they are handling at a given time. That will help you to select the currency for your trade. Then tomorrow they are expected to make a swing and slide during the Japanese session, start gaining in the case of euro and GBP during the European and the US session. And Wednesday onwards, we will come across visible rise in the market in the case of euro, GBP, and Australian dollar, and also in the case of USD. And as a contrarian move on the upside, they could make very aggressive gain on Wednesday in the case of euro and GBP, and also in the case of USD yen as a contrarian move. At that time, you will find all the yen crosses will undergo big upward move. At the moment, they are handling the commodity crosses for the month beginning or the month in trend reversal time. They are handling the commodity pairs and the commodity crosses by showing the USD weakening move in the case of majors. And later on, they will come slowly by Wednesday to that of the yen crosses, yen and yen crosses. And later on, they will handle the majors, and finally you will find they will handle the European crosses as a sequential trend reversal. So during the trend reversal time, we can only do the swing trades, take the position during early part of the session and close it by late session. Maximum we can hold it for 2 or 3 sessions and try to close it within the day if the move is moving in your favor, or if the market is showing profit in your position, then try to use a trailing stop and try to protect the minimum profit and maximize the profit by using a trailing take profit order. On Thursday, they are expected to make the swing and slide during the Japanese session, swing and rise during the European and US session. Then on Friday, dip and rise is expected during the Japanese session. Again, they will make a slide in as a profit booking move for the week, so that those who have gone long after the rise could liquidate the long position with a meager profit or with a small loss, and then they are expected to gain again to take the market higher during the next week. So again, during the first week of February, the monthly trend reversal is to prevail, and you'll come across the volatile and surprise rise in the market. Coming to that of the levels in which the currencies could swing during this week, euro could swing around that of 1.0750 and gain to that of 1.1150, and GBP from 1.4250 to 1.48 area, and USD yen from 117.75 to 121.50, and the actuals are given below. You can track it, update it as you come across in the live market good page and see whether the market is respecting the mathematically derived the expected low on the high for the week. Then in the case of Canadian dollar, they could come down further. So they make the one-sided, they made the one-sided gain up to 1.46, and they will make a one-sided drop to 1.37, nearly about 900 pips. This is what they do in the case of the currencies wherein the volume is relatively less. Any level you think that it is a support and try to take a buy, they will make further drop. So be cautious with regard to USD CAD. They are expected to make the one-sided downward move. And in the case of Australian dollar, they are expected to gain, swing and gain the levels from the 0.6975 to 0.73 area. Already they have come to 0.70. And last week, you would have noticed many of the analysts were telling that US dollar is going to have the strength, and I was telling that it is a sleeping giant. So the sleeping giant, what happens? It will wake up for about 1 or 2 months and make havoc in the market, and it will show that every regional currency is weakened to the core, and also the crosses, and finally the majors, and then go to sleep again. Then you will find all other currencies started gaining. That's what happening in the market, and it will be for a prolonged period. From now, they will try to gain the levels in the case of other majors, and in the process, people will still try to think that market will be range bound, and then they will simply say that it is not able to go above the resistance and things like that. But the players are expected to make shift in trading zone to that of the higher levels. That I will give the details during appropriate time. Then with regard to the market reading, these are all the initial lows and the highs I have noted down for today, and you can note down in the table every day the lows and the highs, what they are set around 3:30 GMT, and try to make a relative comparative study. You'll be able to understand what currencies they are handling, how they are handling, whether they are making continuous drop or continuous rise. The swing and drop and swing and rise will happen, but if you see that normally, which is understood in charts as the higher lows and higher highs, etc. But with the help of this, we'll be able to easily understand what they are trying to do, when exactly they are going to reverse it. With the help of the forecast and also the levels in which the currencies are expected to swing and the market reading, you can fine-tune the forecast and make definite trade. If there is a swing and slide, you can do a sell and buy. If there is a swing and rise, then they can do a buy and sell trade. That way you can earn. And if the market is in the uptrend, so you can wait for the drop to happen and take a buy and book profit during the rise using a trailing stop. That way, if you do it, it will be safe trade. Then in the case of GBP, in the case of Euro, they are not breached the lower. The initial high was 1.0815. They have breached the initial high, went up to 1.0817 and come below that. So it was a brief upward stop, and then they will come and make a brief downward stop and then start gaining the level. In the case of GBP, 1.4253 is the low, which is intact. 1.4307 is the high. They went above that of the high up to 1.4310 and come below that. So they are expected to make a small slide during that of the late Japanese session before making further rise. Then in the case of yen, 118.43 is the low, which is intact. 118.85, they just breached it by 1 pip and went up to 86. And they are making a small swing in the case of USD yen. Then CHF, 1.0139 was the initial low. They just breached it by 1 pip and come above. And they are likely to do an upward stop, and also the wide range swing they are expected to make, but not to drop big in the case of USD CHF when they are gaining the levels in the case of Euro and GBP. So you know that in the month of November, they made the big drop in the case of USD CHF to 0.96 level, and then subsequently started gaining it. And in the case of yen, later on, they dropped it up to 115.97, started gaining it. So all these extended stop-ins are over, and they are in the uptrend. So don't think every time they will make extended stop-in. The extended stop-ins will be limited only during that of the trend reversal time. So accordingly, you have to plan your trades. That is what I was telling every time, that during that of the trend reversal time, Be an opportunity trader and try to capture big profit when they are making big swings in the market. Then USD CAD 1.4130 is the low. They just breached it, came down to 4126 and holding below that of 1.4130. If they hold for more than 30 minutes, that means they wanted to make further downward move in the case of USD CAD. The high is 1.4170, which is intact. Then Australian dollar 0.6981 is the low, which they are not breached, and the high they have breached 0.7011, and they went up to 7031. So they are just holding Australian dollar above that of the initial high. So they will slowly hold it in order to handle the Aussie crosses, and then subsequently they will try to make a downward stop and then start gaining the levels later on from tomorrow. So coming to the trades, euro, we can keep a buy near that of the low 0.7090 with they take profit at 1.0820 and this sell stop or the hedge order at 1.0760, 30 pips below that the hedge order, 30 pips above the trailing take profit order. And once the position makes profit, you can keep stop at entry and remove the hedge order. And once they start gaining the level, you can move the hedge order above, maintaining about 15-20 pips, and keep below, maintaining about 15-20 pips, the trailing stop. So the market can either hit the trailing stop on the downside or the trailing take profit order. That way, you will be able to protect your profit. That once the trade start making profit, it will not become loss making trade. So once the position is closed, wait for the next session start and take another position so that you'll continue to trade with profit. So you have to always keep in mind that there is a lag in our thinking ability with that of the market swings. So suddenly the market could reverse and you may not be able to handle it at that time, and also the platform may not cooperate with you in placing an order or closing a position, etc. And you should not try end up in making distressed trade at that time. Instead, what you do is always try to keep the limit order, trailing stop order, etc., and try to modify those orders so that there won't be any problem in placing the order in the market when the market is highly volatile, so that your position will try to get the definite fill. And in the case of USD and also that hedging order, and you try to do buy and sell trade in all these currencies as they are expected to make continuously contrarian moves. Then again, in the case of Australian dollar, during the day they are expected to come closer to the low before making further big rise, and they will try to handle the crosses that way. So at the time we can pick up the buy. So after the gain, don't buy and avoid doing sell and buy trade. Wait for them to make a downward stop and then try to take a buy so that you will be able to make a definite profit in such trades. So these are all the session timings. You can make a note of the timings and see that early in the late sessions they handle the majors, and during the mid sessions they handle the crosses, and find out what cross they are handling during the sequential trend reversal and try to take the positions accordingly. So wait for them to handle the Euro, GBP and USD yen in contrarian move. That is, all three are showing negative net change and positive net change. So when all the three show negative net change, you try to take a buy. In the case of USD, Euro yen and GBP yen, then they will start making big rise by making a positive contrarian moves. At that time, you can book profit. You know, yen crosses make about 300 to 500 pips, sometimes even 1,000 pips in one go. So You have to capture the profit wisely using the trailing stop in a profit-making position. So I'll try to wind up the webinar, and I'll come back on Friday and review the forecast, what I have given it. If you have got any doubt, you can ask me. I'm willing to answer those questions in the chat window, FX Street Forex Live video window. You can ask your questions. Meanwhile, I'll display the forecast slide for the benefit of latecomers. So if you've got any question, kindly ask me. Okay, Michael, thank you. So no questions. Okay, there are some questions posted. What about New Zealand dollar movement? Market has been pretty affected by oil movement. See, it is all part of the game. They make such extreme moves in oil and things like that, accumulate the positions, future contracts, and later on they start gaining big, so that the oil suppliers would have already taken the sell positions, but they will not be making the profit, but the big players will make very big profit by gaining to 100 $140 per barrel later on by end of the year. So this is the normal practice. So don't be moved by that of whatever being described in the market. Always try to read the intentions of the players. See, they have got huge money, trillions and trillions of money, and thereby they are able to sustain world number one, world number two richest positions. These Fortune 500 people, and they cannot deploy the money in any bank to get interest on those investments. So that is why the private banks, private arms of the banks, international banks, make use of those money in order to rig the market. And there you come across big volatile moves, and these banks are responsible for making such extreme moves in the market. And they will simply say that their clients are instructing them to offload the position, clients are instructing them to accumulate the positions, but they do. And of course the clients also influence quite a lot the market, and as a result you find they are able to really make massive profit for such huge investment. Nowhere in the world such investments can be used to multiply. So money to become multiplied without converting into effort, the only method is cunningness. So that is what they are doing it in the market. So they drop the market and tell everybody that the world is going to come to an end, and everybody in a distress condition liquidate their position. Later on, the players accumulate all the positions and gain the levels during the year. But those who liquidated the position, they will simply say that I am unlucky. When I buy, the market drops. When I sell, the market goes up. So I am not fortunate enough. But actually what happens, such traders go with it of the market saying, they think that the trend is their friend, and that is why they commit. And in order to induce all the traders to commit positions, the analyst also, without understanding that indirectly they are inducing the traders to get trapped, and by telling trend is your friend. And if trend is your friend, and if you try to trade based on that without stop, and also without having a mindset to close a profit making position, you find that you become loser. That is why you find 95% of the traders in the market lose money. So keep in mind that there are so many things which are spread knowingly or unknowingly in order to distract the traders. But you have to be focused on the market. Understand it is a man-made market. Men manipulate the market. Men, if they want to earn money from that of the other people without putting enough effort, only the cunningness can help. That is what they are doing it in the market. So hello there from down under Aussie. I'm watching on FX Street and YouTube, and both have considerably blurred focus. Are you able to adjust this into lost connection? I think it might be the bandwidth problem. Okay. Yes, I'll be back on Friday. This Friday, I don't have any meeting, so I will try to review the market during that time. So whenever free time comes, I'm willing to discuss with the small traders who cannot afford to subscribe to anybody for the forecast, etc. Mainly for them to earn the last money, but not to become addicted to trading. Hey Grace, try that for the focus has been okay now. Then a significant is how significant is the oil price to that of Aussie? See, they're all just coincidences. People simply relate oil to that of Canadian dollar, and then subsequently they also say that Aussie could also be related, and they also relate Aussie to that of gold moves. And then later on, they will say simply gold is moving against the market as a safe haven strategy. So always you find that they shift such correlations. So initially they may say that US dollar is gaining and all other currencies are to lose, and later on gold will start gaining, then they will say it is a safe haven. Then USD yen will start, yen will gain, that means USD yen will come down, and they will simply say that it is used as a safe haven strategy. So later on USD yen will go up, then they will say that no, people are fed up with yen and they are shifting to gold or oil, and they are very attractive. So they continue to blabber something, all excuses, and it will appear as if they are all real truth happening in the market. These are all nothing but the presumptions, and somebody is wearing a green color shirt and walking along the street, and if you assume that okay, he is wearing a green color shirt so that he is feeling cool inside when the sun is very bright, and somebody else might be thinking that he is wearing the shirt in order to attract the girls. So it all nothing but the perceptions of the market, but that is not going to help you in earning money. Yeah. Only thing which can make you to earn money from the market is to read the intentions of the players. Simply going for the attributes is a waste of time. Then, dear professor, what could be the lowest expected level for Euro GBP? Euro GBP could go to 0.73 area and then reverse again. Then what is your opinion of the gold long term? Gold is expected to gain levels again, sir. As I told you that US dollar will become a sleeping giant and all other currencies are expected to gain as such. Some people talk about US dollar collapse. Should we believe that it is not a question of collapse and things like that? Nothing to do with the economy as such. They will simply use various terminologies like double recession, and US is under very bad economic conditions, etc. And during such talks, if you ask any person who is in US, he will say that I don't find any impact of that, because whatever they talk about, the 100 pips drop or 200 pips drop, 500 pips rise, etc., they are all in pips level. But in the actual currency conversion, it will be 1 cent and 2 cents. So if a currency loses 1 cent or gain 1 cent, it does not affect the living style of the individuals. So keep always in mind that these exaggerated talks and the emotional talks in media, etc., they are all mainly to make traders emotional. So don't become emotional. Once you become emotional, you tend to believe whatever they say is true. Then Alton. Well, the Euro USD GBP rising this week. Yes, this week and next week you will come across volatile move, the rise and drop, and things like that. From that of second week of February, you will come across considerable gains in the case of Euro and GBP, and during that of the mid-month, you can do the position trade. Position trade, take the position, hold it for 2-3 weeks and maximize the profit. But current time, the monthly trend reversal time, and also the previously the yearly trend reversal, you have to enter and exit very quickly. If you hold the position for a longer time, then you may have to face the consequences. And you have to use the trading strategy to make either way profit in such situations. So no more questions. So this is the forecast for this week. And if you've got any doubt, you can contact me and I'll be willing to answer to your specific questions or with regard to your specific positions. Wish you all happy trading. And these are all the demo trade recommendations I have given for today. And you can try and find out whether they are working for you. And always keep in mind, the players do the lower level consolidation with frequent downward stop, and but that is not ideal for sell and buy trade. But technically it will appear they are all good for sell and buy trade. Like GBP, when it was around 1.41, it was looking technically very, very weak. And they said that it can go to 1.39, 1.37, etc. But they came down to 1.4087 and started reversing it. So if they start reverse and made one-sided gain to 1.43, you will get struck holding a lowest level sell positions. So they do the lower level consolidation with frequent downward stop, and during downward stop you can take a buy, but don't try to do sell and buy during downward stop. And if you are not in a position to quickly book profit, you will make huge loss. So understand that we will not be able to do a very fast trade depending upon the market shift moves. So market moves are very, very aggressive, and we will not be able to place order in the platforms accordingly. We can only probably imagine that, okay, it's a buy level, this is a sell level and things like that, but we cannot physically place order. It requires some time. So the players know very well, the traders, of what the limitations. Besides, the platform providers also try to give enormous constraint to that of the traders who are consistently making profit in their account. The traders lose money in that account. The platform providers just allow you to lose all your money. If you constantly earn money from that of the market, immediately you are being listed under the watch list, and they will try to put you under distress, and they will enter wrong trades and things like that, start eroding your account. Then finally you will find that even though you have been doing nice trade, but you will lose the money. So keep in mind, people are against the people who have made the investment. Even though you say market is investor friendly, all those things, the market is mainly built up in order to grab those who want to make quick money from that other market by using money. So those who earn the money in a hard way by going for an employment and things like that, they sustain the money just like that. But those who go in for a speculation, invariably they wanted to earn more. So their emotion is triggered and they try to be influenced by that of the bulls and the bear calls or other aspects to become bearish and bullish, etc. Finally, you find once they become emotional, they are able to take wrong decisions out of fear or out of greed, then that ends up in losing money. Then there is another question. It seems the CHF did not move much in sequential move. No, CHF, yeah, last time they made USD CHF on the downside in a big way in a sequential trend reversal. At that time, USDN was trading around 122 to 123. Then they started gaining USD CHF, and USDN, they made the massive drop, so that they will be able to handle all the crosses accordingly. Otherwise, if they drop USDN as well as USD CHF, then CHF yen cross will be unaffected. So they have to handle all. They are very, very smart, sir, in handling all the currencies and giving various stories for us to believe. Thank you, one and all. See you on Friday. Wish you all happy trading. I will just close all the windows. Okay, it is a pleasure talking to you people and explaining to you what is happening in the market, and wish you all happy trading. See you on Friday. I'll come out with more specific forecast for the next week. Thank you.